The question is, how do people respond to the Bible? Now, if any of you have ever told someone that you're a Christian, I wonder what sort of reaction have you got from any of your school friends? Can any of you think of anything? Yep, what's that? A big smile, right. Oh, that's nice. That's very encouraging. Yeah. Anybody else had another reaction from anyone who you've told, I've become a Christian? Yeah. No, you're nearly putting a hand up there. No. Well, you would get different reactions. And this story that Jesus told is about different reactions that people give to hearing the good news and to hearing about the Bible. And how do you respond? So, the parable of the seed is the one that we're looking at. And the characters, these four characters that are in the story, are going to be displayed as Mr. Men. And I hope you can help me work out what character that it might be appropriate to each of the ones in it. There's the whole range of characters. Well, some of them anyhow. You can see Mr. Bump in the top right corner there. So that's easy enough done. But I wonder, can you work out the names of any of these characters just by looking at their pictures? Right, okay. Yes? Number 3 is indeed Mr. Tickle, because he's got big arms around to do just that. Yes? Number 4 is indeed Mr. Happy. Yes? I'll cross over to this side. Yeah? Number 1 is, well, that's an easy one, Mr. Tall. You couldn't miss that one. And I think we've worked out number 2 already. Yes, what were you going to say? Which one? Yes, well done. Yes, indeed it is. We've got Mr. Tickle, Mr. Happy. Can anyone work out what the one at number 5 might be? You think, you know what? You had your hand up first. Mr. Old, yeah. You're not talking about me, are you? All right, okay. No, it's not Mr. Old, although that might explain what his real name is. Yes, what one do you think it is? Mr. Moustache. No, it's not that. Yeah, you'd think he was in the RAF, wouldn't you, once upon a time? Yeah. Mr. Green. No, yeah, I can see why you say that. I'll give it away. It's Mr. Slow. We're all a bit slow to get that one, weren't they? I wonder if any of you grown-ups know that one. Nobody's putting their hand up. Anyhow, if you go into the vestry there, on the wall is a picture of all the students of Barry's course at Theological College in Oxford. There they all are. There's Mr. Bump, you see him up there, and you can see the characters that go with them. Mr. Small, I've spoken to him. I haven't met Mr. Tall or Little Miss Sunshine, but I wonder what Barry is. Perfect. Yes. Yeah. So he must have been a little goody two-shoes when he was at college, mustn't he? Yeah. Yeah. So thankfully he's not here today and to embarrass him. But, yeah. So you can see everybody gets their right character for it. But when we get to our story, I'll follow through on a few things, and then we'll see if you can guess which character goes with each one in the story. So the story is about a farmer who went out into his field to sow his seed. Now, the fields in Israel, particularly ones on a mountain slope, as a lot of Israel is very mountainous, aren't like the ones here around Amesbury, at least not too much like Amesbury, because, you see, it says that some seed fell on the path. They didn't have tarmac roads with fast Porsche cars driving down them in those days. They had tracks, and a track could easily run across the middle of your field where you would produce all your food. So what happened is that carts, horses, and people would walk on it, and they would tread the ground very firmly so that the soil would start to wash away, and there'd be no soil, and there'd be a dirty big path across the middle of your field, your garden, you might say. You see? Oh, you were going to say something. Your farm, yes, well done, yeah. And that's the way we had paths. But it was all one big field. And then the second one, it says, is rocky places, because, of course, there'd be lots of rocks. And I don't know, any of you live here and you've taken a spade to your garden. And what happens when you hit the spade into the garden? It goes crunch, because the soil, particularly on the top of this hill, is about that deep. And so my wife, Daria, has bought lots of smelly stuff and soil and built it up to about that deep, because you can't grow plants. It's very shallow, and there's solid rock beneath it. And it's quite like that in large parts of Israel, where the soil can be quite thin, because the limestone doesn't have much cover. So you've got often lots of rocks on it. If it's like here, lots of flint. The third type of soil, soil we've got is thorny soil. Now, they didn't have weed killer in those days either. And so the only way to get rid of weeds would be to put your back into it and pull them all up. But when do you plant seed into soil? You do it in the middle of August? You do it in January, February, March maybe, early in the year. And of course, by that time, all the plants have died off. You can't tell, are there any thorns there? Because they haven't had a chance to grow. And so when you go out to the field, it all looks beautiful, apart from the path up the middle, and you then sow your seed. How did they sow the seed in those days? They had a big sack, and they would tie it around their waist or put it over their shoulder. They would then put their arm into the sack. They would pick a whole handful of seed out, and they would throw it as far as they could. And they would do that the whole way across the entire field. That is casting your seed broadly, and from that you get the word broadcast. And adults can work out TV and radio. You just send the message round the world. You don't know who's going to listen. And that's the same way they broadcast their seed. They would throw it around the whole field, and they wouldn't really care where it landed. They would just hope they would get something out of it. So that's why we've got the 4 different types of soil. And it describes good soil that did show some product. Well, let's find out each of these types of soil, and then let's see if we can work it out. So the first type of soil, the first type of reaction that people might give to the good news about Jesus, the Bible, is that they hear it, somebody's shouting it, telling them, or somebody's dropped a leaflet in their house and has told them a little bit about God. And what happens? Who is stopping people hearing, does it say here? You've had a few goes, so yes. Who? The birds, right? The birds are snatching it. And how does Jesus tell us who is really snatching the Bible away from people's ears? That is a bit like the birds. I think you haven't had an answer yet. The devil, that's right, the evil one. Because we're not alone. There are many wicked people out here, and there are many wicked powers. And the evil one, the devil, of course, doesn't want us to hear it, doesn't want us to listen, doesn't want us to respond the way that we should. And so that's the devil snatches it away. And there's lots of people. Who would you think of any of the Mr. Men you know would fit this type of person? I'll give this one away, so at least we can start. You think you know? Yeah. Naughty, you're very, very close, yes? All right, I'll give it away. There you got him. Wonder how you saw that. Mr. Silly, of course. Now, you tell me a little bit about Mr. Silly. Look at him. What a silly hat. What is the hat doing to Mr. Silly? You haven't answered for a while yet. It's covering his eyes. And what does that mean? He can't see. So how could he possibly understand? How would you describe his ears? I'm trying to get everybody in. Yes. Big floppy ears, yes. And he can't, of course, if he's got ears like that, he can't see, he can't hear. And there's lots of people who don't want to see or hear about Jesus. They'll laugh it off. And you'll meet some of them when you get older, I'm sorry to say. They're out there. And of course, this is what it's like. Where do you think Mr. Silly is looking? Where do you think his eyes are pointing? Go on, you've got your hand up. No, I don't think he can see us. I think you can see, yep. Well, you can only see inside the hat, but I think you'll find he can look down. And what is he looking down at on his feet? He's looking on the floor, but what about his feet? What do you see of his feet? Go on. Shoes. Are they nice shoes? Are they fancy shoes? Yeah, they're quite expensive, I would think. In other words, Mr. Silly doesn't care for anything but himself and all the fancy things he can get. He's impressed with all the things that go on around him and the nice shiny things, but he's not listening to what God might be telling him, and he's certainly not looking to see what God could do in his life. That's why he's Mr. Silly. He's not interested. He's distracted. He doesn't want to know. But let's move on to the next one. And here we've got rocky ground. It refers to someone who hears and receives it with joy. Yes, I like that. I'm going to be a Christian. Yeah, I'll come along to that meeting. Yeah, I'll put my hand up. But then it says they have no root. They last only a short while. Who do you think of the Mr. Men might this point be? Right, I'll take them all. Yeah. Mr. Grumpy. It could do, but not this one. Yeah. Mr. Bump. No, not this one. Yeah. No, Mr. Happy does. I'll not give the game away. Right. It's this one here. Busy, yes, Mr. Busy. What can you tell about Mr. Busy from this picture? Right, I'll see him 3 or 4, isn't it? Right, I'll go over there, yeah? He's probably always working. Yes, he's always busy. Yeah, what can you tell? He might be running somewhere. He might be running away from something, yeah. Well said. He can't make time for everything. He's got too many other things going on. But where are his eyes focused? Can you see? Yes. He's looking ahead. He's always looking to the next thing that's coming up. He's not concentrating on where he is at the moment and reflecting on who he is and what he's doing with his life. He's always going for the next opportunity. So he would come along and say, yes, I want to be a Christian. Yes. Oh, what's that? Oh, there's some people don't like it. They're taking my name. Oh, I don't like that. I'm going to go on and move on to something else. Always looking for what's on the next horizon, but not listening and understanding what Jesus would have him know. And it says when trouble or persecution come, they quickly fall away. And you will meet some people who say, I've become a Christian. It was dead easy. I came to church and I made a claim and that was it. And within weeks, they've gone. They've moved on. They never really meant it because there were too many other things in their life. All right, we're nearly there. Third one. This one is someone who hears, but then it says the worries of this life and the deceitfulness of wealth, money, chokes the word. So I think this one's quite an easy one. Yeah. No. Your Mr. Greedy is a good one though for it. Yeah. But you're very close. Yeah. Not bossy. I think you'll find something easier. The word is on that actually. Yeah. No, not Mr. Tickle. Yeah. Be good fun that, wouldn't it, Mr. Tickle? The word is on there. Have you found it? Yeah. Mr. Oh, there we go. We got him in the end. And there he is, Mr. Worry. And what do you see on Mr. Worry's head? What can we see from the... You've got a red nose, all right. So he's interested in his nose. He values his nose. He thinks this is very important. Yeah. But what else is on the top of his head? Yeah. Yes, he's got a frown. He's got worried. His head's all screwed up because everything's a problem for him. He gets so worried so easily. He's not going to be someone who trusts what you're offering him. He's not going to be someone who thinks that what you're telling him is true. He's going to be worried, maybe I got it wrong, or maybe I didn't understand, or I don't know what's going to happen next week. And so this person here, this character, is, as it describes, choked because he can't make a decision. He's too interested in himself, but doesn't trust himself or anybody else. And so Mr. Worry, as Jesus taught, always worries about the things that are in his life. Have I enough money? Have I enough happiness? Have I enough holidays? And money, the wealth, is what it controls him. Instead of what Jesus said, seek first the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added to you. All the things that you're worried about. Trust in God. And of course, Mr. Worry couldn't get himself to do that. Well, we're on to the last one, and some people have actually used this one before. Which one? This is the good one, yes. This is the good one. Mr. Happy. Well, actually, it's Mr. Good, but yeah, Mr. Happy and Mr. Good. So, what can we tell about Mr. Good? What's he? How does he look? What's different about him? Right, I'll come over to you again. Yeah, he's got a big smile. Anything else about it? Yeah. Yes, he is, just like Mr. Happy. Yeah, go ahead. No, his hat's nicely back, so we can see everything is going around him. And you can see he's got an ear that he's listening, but also he's standing carefully in one place. He's not rushing on to the next thing. He's listening and understanding. And of course, it says that this person, he is someone who produces fruit, a crop. In other words, he becomes a Christian. Then he tells other people, they do too. And then slowly, bit by bit, more and more people hear. So that's the Mr. Men characters. And the meaning of the parable is quite simple. What is the seed? Jesus interpreted it this way and said, the seed is not the water, it's the word, it's the Bible. The seed is the word of God. And that's what we're about this Sunday, because this book is the one that tells us about him, that allows us to trust in him and allows us to grow in him. And this is a big book. There are 66 different books inside this one book. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth. I could go through the rest. And then all the way through to the book of Revelation. And there's a lot of things in it. But there's only one theme in all of the books. And that theme is Jesus. He appears all the way through. The Old Testament prophet said, he's coming. And the New Testament, as we hear this last few weeks, he's here. And towards the end it says, he's coming back. And the theme is all in God's word. But it's a lot to take in. Now, I want you to tell me how many meals you have each day. So, how many meals? Food. How many meals do you have each day? Go on, yeah. 3. Yeah, how many do you have? 3 plus a bar of chocolate, maybe? Yeah. 10. That's why you're broke. How do you swallow an elephant? 1 spoonful at a time. You can't suddenly have one meal and you've had the whole Bible and that's it. There's no injection into the arm and suddenly you're there. No, the royal road doesn't exist for learning. The royal road is to follow Christ. And daily, one meal at a time. So what the intention is this Sunday is we're trying to encourage you, and I'm going to point to your parents, you particularly, to spend time and one meal a day at least of reading God's Word. Get the pattern set. Read the Bible to your children at night. Pray with them at night. But also, take the chance to share it with them on other occasions. What about you? Are you reading the Bible? Are you reading the Bible through, from cover to cover, bit by bit? You can't do it all at once. So we've got a year coming up in front of us. And what I have got with me, and you'll see them at the back, are different ways of doing it. There are 3 things in this photograph are essential if you're going to read the Bible through consistently. Now, I read the Bible through in a year. Well, it's less than that. I finish about mid-November, and I do it cover to cover, but I jump around a bit. But the only way you can do that and be sure you complete the Bible is to have something else that's in this picture. You've got a Bible. Come on, grown-ups, what else have you got in that picture? I'll let the kids tell you. Yeah, what else? Oh, a candle. Oh, sorry, I forgot about the candle. Right. They always find something you're not looking for, don't they? Right? Yes. Yeah. A notebook. Absolutely essential. If you're going to go through the Bible, you need a notebook or some way of recording what you're going through. And then there's something else in that picture that can be of help. I'm going to risk it. Yeah. Record it. Yes. Got that. Right. Got that. Anything else? Yeah. A Bible study book or a guide. And it doesn't have to be a big book, although we do have some outside that help you with daily bread. I have got these here, and it's got a system of going through the whole Bible in a year. And it's got all the dates of the year down one side, and then readings across for both the Old Testament and the New Testament. And if you want to start, just do the New Testament ones every day, and you'll complete it in a year. If you want to do the Old Testament, you can do that or spread it over 2 years. The whole point is that it's not a race, but it is a challenge. If I wrote you a love letter, speaking to ladies, speaking to my wife, of course, if I wrote you a love letter and you only read the first 3 lines of it and threw it away, how do you think I would feel? And how would you understand the person who had written that love letter any better? You need to read it all, not just bits of it. And so this scheme here allows you to lay it out in the form of a diary. But it's helpful to have a notebook or else tick off when you do the readings each day. That way you keep yourself going. And the other thing is a simple list of all the books of the Bible. And all you have to do is read it and then tick it. And then next time you tick the next one, tick it. And put the date in. And I've got, put your name at the top, put the date you start, and then when you finish the whole lot, you put the date you finish. All right? I'm encouraging you to do this to try and get a bit of method. Because the one thing Christians are awfully bad at is method and sticking to a system. But this sort of thing, and there are many, many others. Go on the internet. There's scores of stuff on the internet that you can find. But if you take this leaflet here, you can fold it and put that as your bookmark and keep a track of where you read last. And there are a couple at the back there. You'll see them. You're very welcome to have them. What if you haven't ever started reading the Bible? I've got a couple of copies of John's Gospel here, and there's an address on the internet you can send off. They'll give you a free copy just to get started. And it not only puts the Gospel in, it gives very helpful suggestions of reading it through. They're available. If these copies go today, have a word with me. I can get you more of them. But the point is, start how you mean to finish. Get into the Bible. Share it with your children, but share it with others and build yourself up. You will be surprised what can happen when someone takes God at his word.